Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Namrata Agrawal from India, and today I'll be delivering a very amazing session on a very new topic, and that's accessibility. And really, it's amazing that you will learn about the inclusion while making an application using Power Platform technology. And foremost, I would say that creation of an application using Power Apps leading to the accessibility and inclusion towards people with different ability. I think it's the best opportunity to create more accessible experience to all of us. So I think you will enjoy the session. So quick introduction about me. So currently I'm a Power Platform developer and working as a full-time developer. So based on my experience, I believe that accessibility should be well taken care of while creating any application for all kinds of users. So let's get started with the video and let's get started with the session. And I'll be thanking Azure Back to School for giving the opportunity to present the session. All right, so welcome to the session. Azure Back to School. Thanks for giving the opportunity again. So yes, so accessible power apps, unlocking inclusivity. So yes, so today I'll be covering about the overview on accessibility, that what is it and how we can achieve the accessibility, along with the challenges that's been very common throughout the industry. And we'll be also talking about what are the visions that we should keep in our mind for accessibility while we design and create any application to solve real life problem. Then we'll be covering about the accessible app creation, and we'll be doing a very small practical development in Power Apps. So it would be really good thing to see for the very first time that how we can achieve it, followed by some good knowledge on AI, that how AI can be leveraged in Power Platform to boost the accessibility domain, making sure that we could leverage some cutting edge technology and enhancing the experience of the people who have different impairments so they can take the advantages using that AI technology. So let me quickly get started with the overview. So yes, so over 1 point, like it's like more than 1 billion people in the worldwide definitely have a disability of different kinds, of course, and we can clearly see the estimates that it's been affected globally, that we have people with different impairments, and it's like this is this is insane, I would say, because a lot people have different kinds of impairments, and because of these impairments, they are affected heavily, because of which they are not experiencing what we experience as part of technology. The applications, the web forms, the websites, they are not that much accessible to them. And because of this, the lack of experience, they suffer through variety of challenges, and definitely it can cause a lot of problems and difficulties in their daily life. So we have to think thoroughly that is it the right thing that we should consider while we create any kind of an application, or it's just a very normal case that we could just ignore it and just go on with a easy development. So it's on us if we have some responsibility that we could figure it out on accessibility. So, moving ahead with the accessibility challenges. So, while there is a creation of any kind of a development, we can clearly see that there are very common challenges while the application is being utilized on a public platform, and it could be really common challenges that we might have ignored it or might have not encountered it. It could be either related to poor navigation, or maybe supporting any forms that's not being that simple. It could be a lot of websites which have very comprehensive designs, and due to this, people who are suffering from different impairments, they might not even access that form, and this could lead to not filling it. So these all are some very common challenges, and it could definitely lead to stress, anxiety, to get more support and help to resolve their common issues. And we should be very cautious But the application, it should be accessible. The people should easily utilize the features without any hustle, without any complications, and that function should be that perceivable that people should be easily understanding it without even reaching out to any documentations or any kind of third party support, or maybe even reaching out to customer care to understand and get the support to, in order to fill the form, or maybe any kind of a activity they have to perform to get the digital experience. So we have a lot of challenges when we can think of. So these are some one of the common challenges that I have highlighted. For example, that if a form is being registered and due to the poor text size, the narrator or the screen readers couldn't read it properly. And because of this, they couldn't fill out the form. So this could lead to delays. This could also create more stress among people, and lack of right color in the font is not being thought of. So these kind of stuff that's being taken care of should be addressed, I believe. So moving ahead, what is accessibility? We have talked about a lot of challenges. We have definitely talked about a lot of impairment statistics, but what is accessibility? First, we have to think about that. What do you mean by accessibility? So I'll understand that accessibility for me is universal experience. So I'll define it in a more elaborative way that accessibility is where we actually make sure that this digital experience is being actually experienced by everybody. The technology should be for everyone. It should not challenge certain group of people for any kind of a experience. It should have inclusion and including everybody, regardless of their geographic locations, regardless of their impairments, regardless of their any capability, any cognitive capabilities as well. So we should be cautious while we are actually designing any kind of a solution. So you might be thinking that what kind of impairments I'm talking about, or maybe abilities I'm talking about. So we have different abilities. It could be visual, it could be hearing, it could be cognitive, speech, mobility, neural. So these are some cognitive capabilities that we have to think thoroughly that while we are designing our any solution to solve any problem, is it being accessible to people who have different impairments related to these abilities? Is it really accessible, or is it really being experienced by it? So we have to think thoroughly. So accessibility has some visions that we can think. So these are some very I would say very fundamental principle that every design should follow. It follows actually the core principle, and this is very exciting, honestly, because core principle talks about the entire structure of your solution that addresses all kind of a people, regardless of their abilities. So core is like perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. So it generally means that it should be really perceivable, that once the content is live, it should be easily heard out, easily read by people of all kind of abilities. So it could be either using the alt text, either it could be a very simple information presented in a simple way. So these are some easy methods that's actually helping people to perceive it. Second is operable. We should make sure that whatever designs we make it, or any digital content we make it, it should actually engage people. It should be that simple that screen readers actually read out and engage with that content, and it should be operable. Next point is understandable, of course. When you see the design, it should be very quick to understand, regardless of going through the documentation of navigating step one, step two, step three, step four. Instead of that, the design should be easily understandable and predictable that what could be the next step for us. And lastly, it's robust, of course. Whatever you design it, make sure that the design is being available to all kind of operating system. Infrastructure should not be a dependency or a prerequisite in this. Next, we come upon the design support. I think this is very, very important while we design any kind of a solution. Believe me, we actually develop an app, right? But we have to make sure that once it's been in contrast mode, is it being really accessible? Is it being really visible with different colors and font size? Can people see it more comfortably? Is it? So we can definitely turn the high contrast mode in our system, and it's easily available while you go to the settings and you check out the contrast mode and you can enable it. And this is for people with vision impairments. And this also help people for development. Just a point that people who are actually developer, but they are also diverse people who have vision impairments, but they are a developer by heart. So they can definitely create an application to solve real life problem. How is that possible? Just turn on the high contrast mode and try that if that's possible. And definitely we can use narrator to navigate to any action steps, just to hear out and just making sure that we can just create an application, even a basic application, I would say. And lastly, we have different thoughts that we can think that whenever we design any solution, we have to be very careful for the font size. It should be that normal that people could easily perceive it and not taking any kind of a support to understand it. Second is we should avoid pop-ups. It is really helpful because once we have the pop-up on a very comprehensive screen, narrator do get confused what to read because it generally read out the background as well as the information inside the pop-up. So people do get confused that is it reading the pop-up or is it reading the background information. So we have to be very careful on this part. Third is have a logical layout. This definitely makes a sense because whenever we are laying out any design, it should be at least simple, optimized, and easy to build it, easy to understand it, and of course, resolving the solution with a minimum solution instead of making a complex solution on and maybe the problem is simple, but people generally design a very complex solution. So that's not a real solution. Solution is that you design a simple solution, making sure that it checks out all the problem statements, and just making a simple design is really enough. And lastly, ensuring a proper contrast because of course if you maintain a decent color contrast in your application it actually helps the eyes to understand it, to have a good vision, and this definitely reduces the psychological effect maybe of anxiety or stress to put more pressure to understand what's the content. And it's very easy to navigate to the content on the website using decent colors, I would say. So yeah, so this is some design support that we can definitely think of while we are actually making sure that our application is accessible to everybody. That this is a major part that while we develop any kind of application in a Power Platform and getting started with Canvas app, of course, we design it, we build it, but there is an option that's accessibility checker in Power Platform. This is really, really, really helpful tool for developers. How? Because once you design it, once you build your application, you want to see that how can I debug it? That is it satisfying all kind of a checks that I need to do it for maintaining the accessibility? Is there any tool? Yes, there is a tool, and that's called Accessibility Checker. It actually scans your entire application and it did give, the pointers that you have missed the label, you have missed the caption, you have missed the title, and that's really important factor for accessibility and of course for narrators as well, so that they can read it, right? So, what are the steps for you? First, you analyze it. Whatever you are working on, just make sure that you are actually putting all kind of a captions, the labels to your media. the controls, everything. So it actually analyzes your work, right? Secondly, it addresses the errors. And of course, whatever you see your error, you can clearly see here that missing accessible level in the video. It clearly states that in a video that you have added, the accessible label is missing, and you can definitely add it and resolve this bug. Lastly, it gives you the warnings and tips also. It gives you some, hidden hints or maybe a direct hint as well, for that in case you forgot any caption or any label, you know that how to add, where to add. So it's really good that you debug it using this checker tool and resolve all kind of bugs related to accessibility. So this is a dedicated platform, I would say, and this is a dedicated tool, I would say, for this platform to resolve it. So yeah, so this is accessibility checker, and I think because of this checker, we have resolved a lot of errors in our applications, and this have definitely helped a lot of developers to do it more quickly instead of going one by one control and just checking, is it being done, is it being given a good caption or maybe label. So instead of going to each and every control, it's really time consuming, honestly, believe me. But yeah, we can use accessibility uh, check. Next, we come with navigation with screen readers. This is very, very basic because people are not that much aware about the screen readers. So screen readers are actually available in the system. Example, if you're using Windows, then you definitely have the narrator. And of course, you definitely get another screen reader in your Edge browser. When you check out the settings, you'll definitely see that there is a screen reader. But of course, for default setting, I would say you can go to settings and check out the narrator, and you can enable that narrator to hear out whatever it's there on your screen. So you just open it, scan it, and you can, of course, navigate through your keyboard as well if you wanted to make sure that you wanted to hear some specific thing on your screen. So you can go and just navigate through your keyboard and just hear out using the narrator. And of course, different operating systems have different screen readers named, right? So for Windows, it's narrator. Oh yes, so this is very, very exciting topic, that how we can leverage AI in solutions. So yeah, so there are, I would say this is a huge scope for AI in this world of accessibility, because using that AI, you can just unlock a lot of things. For example, if you see an image, right, and you wanted to hear out the image, is it possible that image can come out and say that I am doing the session, maybe? No. No. What you need to do is you just analyze that image, you caption out that image, right? And that captioning of an image can be definitely achieved by using this AI technology. It scans the image, it summarizes maybe, or maybe it caption the image based on whatever content is present, and it captions out. And narrator can pick that text for people, and it can definitely read out. So this is making sure that narrator is actually narrating the proper story inside that image, so that people do not miss out anything in that image. Or it could be related to video as well. For example, we see any YouTube video, right? We turn on the caption. So it is similar to that way only, that we use AI technologies to overcome some hidden challenges that may be not possible by a human while giving design in the app, because the content is dynamic. So we have to make sure that, are we converting our content dynamically for people, for all kind of people? Yes, we can do it. So yes, so there's an option while we can see clearly that using an invoice, it's been an image, right? And people who have vision impairments, they might not read it, from image. So what AI technology can use it, they scan all kind of data from that image and uses its capability of object detection, and of course recognize some text from the invoices. It prepares a report in a digital format and helps narrator to read it out. all kind of a prices maybe from an invoice. And because of this broadening of this technology, I believe that people can definitely take an advantage from that extracted text, from that recognized text. For example, apple cost for 100 rupees. So narrator can definitely read out the cost of apple and can help to prepare the bill. And it's really, really amazing that these kind of technologies definitely help in this modern world. And this is just one example. In Power Apps, we do have a lot of AI builder technology, and yes, we do have a capability of creating our custom models using AI builder, and we can definitely use pre-built model if the use case is really generic. So we have both the advantages. If you have very unique use case according to your business needs or according to the real life problem needs, it's on us that how we utilize our technology, right? So yeah, so moving ahead with Azure Cognitive Services, this is really, really cool that we can use the AI builder capability from Power Platform, but we can definitely use Azure services as well. We can integrate that Azure services with our Power Platform because that's a win-win situation for both the conditions. We can definitely use the AI services from Azure portal. We create our own models, we train it, we use it in the Power application, and this is how we convert real life and dynamic content on a website, on our application, using the services. So the major services for which we can think of AI technology or maybe cognitive services would be, I would say, emotion and video detection. For example, people who have, visual impairments, but they wanted to hear it up, maybe wanted to understand that what is the activity that's been going in a video. So I think it's really, really good if they could just hear the emotion that people are laughing, enjoying the scenery, or maybe enjoying the nature. So this is how the extraction from the video happens. Just like I talked, captioning of the video. Next is facial speech and vision recognition. I would definitely recommend that these kind of a service are heavily used in accessible world. People who are smiling or maybe just talking, it's been captioning that, or maybe vision. If there is an object, it defines it. If the apple is there, maybe, or a student is going from left to right, any kind of a recognition. So this is really important that even the textual words are converted to a speech. For example, people who cannot, see but can listen it, it's really important for them to listen out that text. The student is going from left to right, something like that, right? And lastly, speech and language understanding. For example, there's a summary out there in an image format and just wanted to understand in a quick glimpse. So, summarization can definitely help to get a quick glimpse of what kind of a report has been there, and that person can definitely hear it out instead of just reading it. And it's really common, I would say, common use case for all of us, because if we have a report, why don't we want it to just have a summary out of it? And that's a very normal demand for all of us, I would say. So everybody wants the summary of a quick report, but a plus point is, can we hear out that summary? Yes, we can, because we have a lot of AI services. So I think this can be a very leveraging point for development, I would say, in a solution. So yeah. So moving ahead, this is some listed, I would say, some services. For example, you can leverage AI services like AI search, like Azure AI services. You can have the computer vision services, custom vision services. You can use some APIs, some well-known APIs like face APIs, and you have languages model. So these are some, explicit models that you can definitely use in your Power Platform, and you connect your APIs and services using API and connector in Power Platform. So just remember it. Whatever app you create and you wanted to connect your app to the external world, That means external data sources, or maybe external third party services, or even maybe to external Azure services. You have to use the connector, and connectors are premium as well as standards. So for this, it could be standard or premium based on the requirement. So using the connector, you make an API connection to your services available on different source, of course. And once you build a connection using API, it's really secure. So once you build a connection, you can definitely leverage the AI services or any kind of a different services into your Power applications. So yes, so yeah. So now we move on with virtual agents. You can of course leverage virtual agents at max, really. Whenever you are designing any kind of a solution and you feel that the website is really comprehensive, so what you can do is you just embed a bot as a help desk bot, I would say. And this help desk bot is really helpful for people who have different impairments, because, or maybe not impairments, I would say it's really helpful for all of us. For example, if you're not able to understand what's the content and how we can get a solution out of this, so we can just easily reach out to that bot, write out the common queries maybe, and just ask it. And you might not know, but you'll get the answer quickly. Who never knows, right? So you can definitely embed that bot on our website. It's really, really important if we have a generic bot, because this is really important for common asked questions and definitely save a lot of time for both ends, for people who are actually responding to the queries and for people of all kinds who have different queries on different contents, maybe. So this is really important if you can integrate the chatbots in a website or maybe in an application. So this is actually tailored based on the experiences, just to make sure that digital experience is being actually experienced by all of us, regardless of our abilities, I would say. Yes. So yeah, so this is a Power Platform application where we can clearly see the chatbot, and this chatbot actually helps to create virtual agents. This is nothing but just a chatbot creation platform. So where you can create the new chatbot from here, and you can just create your own custom entities and utterances based on the different use cases, right? So yeah, so this is all. So I'll be moving ahead now with the demonstration. And it would be really cute demonstration, I would say, then how we can create an application. Let me go to this Power Platform application. So this is my Canvas app that I have created. It's just a very basic Canvas app, I would say. So yeah, so this is screen. We call it a screen, and this is image, and this is a text, and this is input, right? So how we navigate is first I'll play the app. This is a play button to play the application, right? And this is image. I can see, hi, welcome to the session. Thank you. And this is a place where we write the names, right? I write my name, Namrata. Okay. So this is a very basic app, but how we design it, we have to keep in mind about accessibility. So I click here. I see the advanced section right in front of me. What I'll do is I'll just go to accessible label and I give a text here. Azure Back to School logo. So this text is really, really important for narrator to speak out, to voice out, right? So if you don't give text, you are making sure that this is being missed out for people who have impairments. So just make sure that it's being accessible to all. We give a label out here. So this accessible label means we are giving a label, means we are giving a caption to the image, right? And then we go to hi, welcome to the school. So hi, welcome to the session. This is obviously red because this is a text. It's been easily read, and we can clearly see that it's been a text here. And of course, we can clearly see. And yes, this is important that whatever we are writing here, we are actually making sure that we give an accessible label. So we are writing here, write your name, because we want the people who are actually using this, now they wanted to add an input, right? So I'll say to my narrator that please speak out, that write your name. The person who wants to input it is well aware that he or she has to enter name. And yes, so let me play this application and just, okay. So what I'll do is I'll just run my narrator for reference, like how people hear it out, right? So I just go to narrator on.
Narrator dialog. Skip for now. Button. Scan mode.
Okay.
Settings window. Taskbar. Power App Studio access. Power App Studio pane. Accessibility app. Contains stuff. Heading level 2. Contains. Heading level 2. Please wait. Heading level 2. At level 2. Contains style. Space. Author tablets. A. Authoring. Space. Space. Close. Tablet. Image. Phone. Image. Browser options selected. Button. Authoring canvas. Image. Browse. Image. Screen 1. Group. Azure Back to School logo. Image.
So it clearly said Azure Back to School logo, and we did give the accessible label. So I believe that narrator just, spoke it right.
Hi. Welcome to the session.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Write your name. Edit. Scan off. New line.
Oh, yes. This is really important. You remember that I gave accessible level, that person who is actually inputting should know what to enter. So narrator just spoke that enter your name. So now I know that I'm writing my name.
A. Hi. Scan. Write your name. Footer bar. Region landmark. Scan. Authoring canvas region. Write your name. Edit. Namrata. Settings window. Narrate. Exiting narrator.
So this is how you exit the narrator as well. But you now know that people who are using narrator, how they, navigate using their keyboard and they hear it out. And this is how they access that form or maybe screens, and they just hear it out and they give their desired inputs. So this is how they actually access any kind of a digital content. So we have to be very cautious, we have to be very kind, we have to be very thoughtful as well, whatever we decided. So this is how we do the stuff. So yeah, so this is how accessibility comes into the action for digital experience. And I believe that now this would improve the horizon of the creativity, the thought while designing any kind of a solution. So I believe this could be a really really good opportunity for all of us to understand that how we can ensure that we experience universal experience, right? So this is how a very short demo helped all of us to understand the importance of accessibility. So so this is how we do the application development. And now I'll show you the accessibility checker, app check. So yeah, so we go to accessibility here and we can clearly see that it gives the tips. Revise your screen name, because we never give screen name as screen 1 or screen 2. We give the precise actual name to our screen. For example, screen like home screen. So this is actual name for people to understand who have hearing impairments or maybe visual impairments. So they know that they are actually landing to their home screen. So this is how we can resolve it. We can clearly see how to fix it, why fix it. It generally answers how and whys of everything. So yeah, so this is a short demo. And